family? It's your guy, CY, Mr. 8. Hey, we're back with the Genesis, right? The Genesis, the beginning. And today I'm super, super duper excited because I got my people, right? This is my brother. This is my friend. This is the bruhs, the real
Hey,
IQ dogs.
real life,
Um,
for real.
Billy Grubbs, you know what I'm saying? This guy, me and him have connected several years back, and I'll get into even the story of how we met and then how I met his mom. So now I call his mom Mama G. She calls me son.
Facts.
That's how close we are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have him on this podcast. Hey Billy, what's going on, fam? Introduce yourself to the good people of the Genesis podcast.
All day, man. I got you. So my name is Billy Grubbs. Man, I just still fresh out of here in in Dallas, Texas, man. Only been out here for about a year and about 4 months. Naturally, originally from Washington State, moved out to DC in 2008. Got real comfortable in that lifestyle, that chocolate city lifestyle. And then after a few changes in life and everything like that, growing and developing, man, some family things happened, and it gave me the opportunity to move down south and being closer to friends and everything like that, and just an overall shift that was needed just in my overall development and growth, man. So I'm blessed to be here, ready to make it happen. Always when you with the bros, it's always love.
So, dog, I know you, man. So I
Yeah.
know you, right? So, for those that don't know you, even though you have a huge presence on social media, you are a huge presence in purpose, right? And your
Yes.
energy is infectious, and you are definitely like that guy to me. Like you, my dog. Of course, I'm a pat you on your back and pump you up. But real life, like you have something to say, you have something to share. Like just tell the people who you are, what you're about, like, and what drives you and pushes you to be Billy Grubbs.
Oh man, I feel like that's like a massively loaded question in a great way. But if I was to think about what drives me and motivates me every single day, and just my overall purpose is just to help people, man. Ever since I was a kid, and ever since I was, playing sports and stuff like that, playing on teams as I became an adult, like I just have always had this passion of just, being in the community, supporting people. And as I've gotten older, man, like to be honest with you, bro, like it's evolved. Like it's evolved in such a major way as far as what's possible for me. And like, when it comes to supporting people, I always had that entrepreneur mindset, that entrepreneur like feeling in my soul. And like when I guess the best way to put it is after I got to DC and really got comfortable in that lifestyle and just really kind of when I say fell off, like it's like I got into partying and drinking and just really going hard in the streets, you know what I mean? And that's just
Mhm.
Chocolate City gotcha boy. I was a West Coast boy, came over to Chocolate City and didn't know what to do with myself. And so, I got an opportunity, to like just really connect with the Qs out there and everything like that. And when I got connected with the bros, like I got connected with my good friend Reginald Abreu, you know what I'm saying? One of my road dogs right there. Like we were road tripping everywhere, got connected literally like a week after I moved there. And I just remember like, man, it's crazy when you're inebriated and you're just always partying and drinking, the conversations you end up having with some of your friends. And I just remember like when we would always be out there partying and stuff like that with some of the bros and just my boy Reggie and whatnot. I would always talk about wanting to be an entrepreneur. I like, man, I would love to and I work for the federal government. I like my job. I like what I do and stuff like that. But if I could ever like to own my own thing or create my own thing, that would be dope. Like that would be powerful, next level powerful. And it's crazy, like the power of like manifestation and what you can create in your life by just, one, just having a committed heart, and then two, just really being focused in that direction of what it is that you really do want. And so as the years went on and stuff like that, I just really found myself in a position where I know I needed to make some change, and I was blessed enough to get into like a multi-level marketing company, Herbalife Nutrition, and that like shifted everything. I got on
Hmm.
the products, lost 30 pounds of fat, put on some muscle and everything like that, and I started looking like my old track stuff from college. I was like, oh, I got abs, boy, I got abs, you know. And so I always say that like summer 2013 was a shirtless summer. I got my body back and everything like that, and I was just out there and I was loving it. Those products led me to an amazing business opportunity into entrepreneurship and just multi-level marketing in general, what that was. I had an idea what it was, but it wasn't until I got into that company that I started realizing like what it is that like my purpose really is to do. And like part of that purpose is not just to help people, but it's like how can I inspire people from the masses? Like what can I do to like touch, move, and inspire people? How can I put myself in front of people in all those types of facets? And I'll say for myself, like one of the biggest things that like helped me in that was, man, I had an opportunity to start speaking on stage for Herbalife, and that really created a platform for possibility. And what helped groom that and grow that was like the introduction to personal development. And when they opened that up and I started like reading more, because I mean, I would read and I would do and I would like have conversations and stuff like that. But when you start reading with a purpose, like you really start reading in the areas that like really will benefit your life. Like for me personally, like I was lacking on how to be an adult, how to take care of my finances, how to be a grown ass man, and how to like, love and love properly and be in a relationship. And so when I started like really honing in those areas, it not only changed my mindset, man, but it truly did change my life because it changed my speech, it changed my conversation, it changed how I was moving and grooving. And to be honest with you, Carlton, like the part that really, really got me, that like really opened me up is just that like when my parents saw me and they like, man, you moving different. And I was like, yeah, like I couldn't really see it at the time, but I was like, yeah, I'm just doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. But it's stuff like that. Then when people that you care about and like love you see you, like when they see you and they're like, you're moving different. It's like, okay, thank you. But in hindsight, it's like, I get it because like I was attracting something different into my life. I was attracting the level of abundance and the things that I was praying for. Like, you pray for success, you pray for, a community, you pray for just the right people to be in your life, and you pray to like have things removed from your life. And so for me, it was like the hangout, like the days of partying,
Mm-hmm.
every single like, dog, when I say like we lived for the weekend, it was like
Mm-hmm.
work Monday through Thursday. And on Thursday, we talk about what we do on Friday, Saturday. And Sunday was recovery and back to it on Monday. You know what I mean? And so in that conversation, you already know, you know what I mean? That's exactly
Right.
what it was. It was like Monday through Thursday. Thursday, you figuring out what you doing Friday, Saturday. And, now they got day parties on Sunday. So what we doing on Sunday too? And then Sunday recovery,
Right.
get back to it on Monday. And I can say that propelled me into a lot of different areas because that just wasn't serving me, man. Like it really wasn't serving me. And it was a life that I was trying to hang on to because I felt like I needed it. I needed like to still be connected to the streets. I still need to be connected to, lustful thinking, lustful ways and stuff like that. I need to be, focused on how I can get my next dollar. How can I get money? And it's crazy when you think those are the things you really need, and it just strays you further and further away from your purpose. Like you can be on a massive run, and I can sit there and say that for myself. I was on a massive run, man. Personal development was up. I was speaking all over the country, doing some international speaking and stuff like that. And I was really in my bag. I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just, I started chasing the dollar. And then before I knew it, everything around me started getting tested. Like the relationships, everything around me started getting tested because you start getting pulled in certain the different directions that are meant to taunt you. They're meant to like, be attractive, the girls, the money, the traveling, what I'm saying? Oh, and let me go in to get a new car or something like that. Let me go in and stunt a little bit. The new suit, you know what I mean? And that's what it was. And like, I'm 42 years old, about to be 43 in a couple of days. And so a new
Right.
suit is like, a fresh pair of Jordans for some of these cats nowadays. And so, yeah, man, it just, that realization right there led me to realizing that like, what it is that I want to do, but I needed to have the biggest fall that I had. And we've talked about this before.
Oh
Like
wow.
I fell out with some friends, and man, it really broke me because like, you think that you're trusting certain things, you think certain things are happening, and God had a good way of letting me know that like the way that I was living wasn't right. And he's taken away the things that I think that I need so that I can step into who I need to be. You know what I mean? I took a lot of things personal. I thought a lot of people turned their back on me, but it really was like, and when I think about it now, nah, man, it was to help me grow. It was to help me to realize like who I want to be, what I want to be, how I can have it. And then the biggest thing, we talked about this recently, and that was 2017, and here in 2024, you just talked about this a couple of weeks. That level of breakdown in my life propelled me into understanding like what I need to create for myself. You know what I'm saying? What I need to step into, how I need to grow into the best version of myself, the best man that I can be, in the future version of myself. Because I got to a point in DC in 2021 after my father had passed away that like there was an opportunity for me to move to Dallas to be closer to family because my stepmother moved down here and she was like, "How long? You say you want change. You say you're not like living right." And in reality, I was depressed. I was
Wow.
broken inside. I was going through the motions every single day. And what I tell some people that I work with right now is I've had the perfect mask on, like this, the smile, the mask, the holding it together and everything like that. But I never forget something my mentor said, Garen Jones. It was 2019. He came to my house and he walked into my house and he was like, "Why is it so dark in here? It's like the middle of the day. It's like it's sunny outside." No, he's like, "So what you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you got your like your shades up and stuff like that, but it's just so shaded in here and stuff like that. He's like, bro, it's like you living in a coffin. And I was like, damn. I was like, that's what you feel? He's like, yeah, man. The energy. He goes like, I love you, man, but I can't stay at your house. I was like, damn, like that. And he's like, yeah, man. It just this energy in here and everything like that is telling me that like I know you got a lot of stuff that you got going on, but like this is like, are you in a dark? He's like, are you in a dark place? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a dark place, but I can't say I'm happy either. You know what I'm saying? He gave me some mentor. We had some conversations. He had me turn on lights and stuff like that. I'm gonna stay here, man. You gotta turn some lights on. You gotta do something here. Like you gotta open it up. And so that was the bigger pinnacle to realize that like I need to do something different. Like where I'm currently at right now in Washington D.C. isn't serving me. The people I'm around, I love them to death, but they're not serving me right now. I can still love the people that I love and realize that where I'm currently at and with what I'm around isn't serving me because I need to elevate myself if that's what I really want to do. And so for myself, dog, what got the dog, when I say like got me, was after my dad passed and my mom moved, the way she was able to move so quickly because she made a decision, like a powerful decision, like a decision is the most powerful thing you can make. And so she came to Texas to visit her daughter. And in that same trip was like, I'm moving. And it can happen that quick. And the realization that I had was like, oh man, I'm my own victim right now. I'm forcing myself to stay in this mess. I'm forcing myself to stay in depression. So I'm not doing nothing about it. My mentor's been telling me for years, I need to move. I need to be around new leadership, new energy. I need to get out of a place that is not allowing me to be the best version of myself and put myself around people that are going to support me, love me, and help me grow. It's not that I wasn't loved and supported there, but I was ready to elevate into something different. But I was forcing myself to stay with what felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, bro, like it was when I saw my mom do that, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. And so when she did that, it put the monkey on my back to like make moves. If I'm about change, if I'm really about what I preach to people and what I coach to people, I gotta do something different. And so in fall of 2022, packed up everything and just came out, moved out to Texas. All that, like it just packed up the dog, packed up the girl, was like, hey, we out. You know what I'm saying? We going. This is what we doing. You know what I'm saying? And so once I got out here, bro, like when I say a breath of fresh air, like it just, I miss my friends? Yes. But like where I'm at right now, that's all God. Like the moment I touched down, linked up with you, and the conversations we've been able to have and build around like the level of creativity and things that we can connect with and things we can build. It's not that I wasn't having those conversations, but I wasn't around people of action. And so like to be around someone who's like, God led, heart led, and someone who's a leader in his own community, it was like, okay, I see what you're doing, God. Well, I need to go to church. My dog Carlton like, hey, I found a new church, bro. I think it's on point. You should check it out. I was like, man, I keep on asking God for something. He keeps on putting something in front of me. I got connected to church family. Man, I need a men's group or something like that. I gotta connect with something like that. Hey, dog, like, the church group, they got a men's group. You want to come on Mondays? Say less. And so like when I sit there and say like my heart was open to receive, that's how I was able to see it. And so like in that moment, it's like I completely surrendered, dog. I surrendered whatever God was telling me. I surrendered. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna go. It's 45 minutes. I'm gonna ride out. Let's go. Let's get it. It's nothing.
Hey, bro, trust me, man. Hey, it's so much to unpack what you just said, right? So many pieces to that to unpack.
Yeah.
One of the things that just popped in my head as you were talking about like DC being around your people, right? And I think we all have for the listeners, right? You have your circle that you've been around for some time, right? And they're not bad people. They're just not meant to go to the next level or that next space in life. And so a lot of time God will set agitation in there, right? Or he'll put a sore in there so you can pick at, like, it's like a scab, right? It starts to heal and then something happens and you pick at the scab and it's another open wound. So a lot of times when you be in those circles, God is saying, it's time for you to move. I got something different for you to do. It's okay for y'all to be cool, but I want you to move in a different lane now. Like you know what I'm saying? You both are going, 95 north. I need you to come 95 south.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna set an agitation in there, right? And one thing about it is just because you share history doesn't mean you share future.
Mm.
Right?
Ooh.
Just because you
Okay.
share faith doesn't mean you share values.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just because you might have the same mindset, but doesn't mean you have the same values.
Yeah. Big
So a
facts.
lot of times we be hanging with our people, right? And we love them, but God is saying in this season of your life is like, I gotta pull you out of that. So
Mm.
I allow all these things to occur, but you're not catching the context clues. Just like me, I'm not
Yeah.
catching the context clues. God is putting clues in my face, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. And so I love your story. And the one thing that I really want you to unpack, right? Because this really just like blew my mind to hear you say that,
Yeah.
right? And the other piece I'll speak on real quick, like for the listeners that know the story about Joseph in Egypt, there was a season that Joseph was the number 2 man in Egypt, even though he was not from Egypt, and he had favor with Pharaoh. But it came a new time when the new Pharaoh was in charge, and that new Pharaoh did not know who Joseph was, and he enslaved the entire people. So you
Mm.
can be in spaces where you have favor and similarities with people at a certain time, but when that season is up, God is saying, if you don't move, I'm gonna put you in bondage until it's time for you to move, until I do what I need to do, right? And a lot of times
Yeah.
we take things for bad, but they be for good. But I need you to unpack this depression, and it's dark in here. And I know Garen Jones is the energy guy and the
Yeah.
light and
Yeah.
all that, and he's a dope individual. But I know how much you guys are connected, and how much he pours into your life, and he's definitely a energy person. How
Yes.
did that feel for your boy, somebody that you highly respected, say, I can't stay here because the energy is dark? And then what did you do like to get out of that energy space? Because there might be somebody on this call right now, I'm listening to this podcast right now
Yeah.
saying, man, I'm in that exact same place.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I am depressed. And it's like a darkness. So you remember Pigpen on Charlie Brown? It's
Yeah.
like that cloud following them. Like somebody's
Yeah.
feeling like Pigpen right now because that cloud is following them around and they don't know how to get rid of it. So I want you to talk to me, bro, about how you, one, were able to process that, because a lot of times people can tell you something that's truthful, and it really hurts your feelings, and it
Yeah.
triggers you to put up a defense mechanism. So how did
Yeah.
you not put up that defense mechanism, and then what did you do through that process to navigate it?
Oh, no doubt I got you. So to work through the aspect of what helped me not put up my walls and not to like guard off what he was putting in front of me, what he said to me when he said that, bro, that's all personal development and growth. Like when, after
Mm-hmm.
reading like the book, The Four Agreements, realizing not to take everything personal and understand that like the people that you love will always tell you exactly what you need to hear. And if you're a man or woman of faith, and you realize that like, you know what? If this is my brother, like, I don't think he would be saying this to hurt me. I don't think that he's
Mm-hmm.
saying this because, like, he wants to make me feel bad or try to, quote unquote, because some people take that as like a challenge. Like, I'm challenging you because, whatever else, whatever, how you're living isn't good. I didn't hear that. What I heard my friend say was, are you okay?
Woo.
That's what I heard him say. It's like, man, like, it's like you're living in a coffin. Are you okay? You know what I'm saying? And so that realization, the way it hit me, and I looked like, because I lived in like, if you've ever been in like Maryland, DC, everything is like townhouses. And so I lived in a 3-story townhouse. So when we walked up them steps and got to that middle level, and he was like, looked around and stuff like that. He was like, man, it's just so dark in here, bro. Like, are you like, it's like you living in a coffin. And I was like, what you mean a coffin? He was like, it's just so dark in here. Like, this is where you spend your time? There's no light. Like it's only, and then like the conversation that we had around that was just like, you know, not only are you okay, but I'll throw this analogy out there exactly because we talked about, peer to peer energy. We talked about relational energy with our significant others, and we talked about sexual energy and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And he was just like, bro, like the energy you're currently putting out right now to the world isn't serving you, because look what you're coming home to. How are you recharging your
Mm-hmm.
battery and expecting to be at the best version of yourself to support the masses
Mm-hmm.
that you say you want to support? And then for me, the realization after, like within that conversation, even after the conversation, was like, I'm not good. As much as
Mm-hmm.
I want to pretend like I'm good, I'm at that point, I'm making well over $12,000 a month through the MLM. You know, I got some other little things going off on the side, so I'm doing good. I'm able to support send my mom money, you know, fly home as I want
Mhm.
to and stuff like that. But at that time, it was just like, man, you can have everything in the world that you think that you need materialistically and have nothing inside. And that's what I felt like.
Woo!
And so when he said it, I was like, man,
Talk to
this is my realization right now. It's like, if this is one of my best friends who loves and cares about me, my brother, and he sees this, what am I hiding? So in that conversation, what I
Mhm.
did, bro, was literally like, take the mask off. I sat it on the table and was just like, yeah, bro, I'm not good. Like, I don't trust the people around me. I think people are not even, it's not, the word plotting isn't correct, but they don't have my
Right.
best interest at hand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so in that aspect, and at the time I was in like a toxic relationship, you know what I mean? And it
Mhm.
just always fighting and arguing and stuff like that. So my heart wasn't good. And so like, as we're me and him are talking, I'm peeling back the onion. I'm like, I don't trust anybody. The girl I'm talking to right now isn't cool. This is happening. This is happening. He was just like, bro, like, why are you still here? And I was like, well, what you mean? I was like, I've been here for the last like 11 years, well, 10 years. He's like, bro, you don't have to be anywhere. You can move, you can change your environment, you can get around different people. If this isn't serving you, then what are you gonna do? And I and it was tough because he was even like, all right, be honest with me. How you living right now? I was like, not living good. He's like, you out here sleeping around, aren't you? I was like, yeah. He's like, you out here doing this. I'm like, yeah. He said, you're drinking a lot. So I was like, yeah. And he was like, let me tell you something, Billy. Let me break down how energy works and energy flows, especially sexual energy. He's like, you have to think about it. You're right here. You're right here. And as you increase your value as a person and the people you're giving yourself to are down here, you're flowing down. Energy can go down and it can be
Mm.
even, but energy can't go back up. So you're giving and you wonder why your cup is empty. He's like,
Mhm.
you're not allowing yourself to find an equal. You're not allowing yourself to be around value, or you're not allowing yourself to be around somebody who's up here and they can bring you up. They can put you in a position to
Right.
realize that like what you're giving and what you're putting out needs to increase, and how can you increase your value and how can you become a better man? And bro, when I sit there and said like I was sitting there bawling at that like 'cause I had an island, so I'm sitting at the table just
Mm.
like, man, like I don't like you know what, G? I don't like myself.
Woo.
I don't like him.
Been there, bro. I've been there, bro. I can
I don't
definitely
like him.
relate to that. And let stop real quick right
Yeah,
there,
you good?
because I know there's somebody that is listening to this podcast is looking at themselves in the mirror right now and they're saying the exact same thing. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like myself. I don't like who I've become. I don't like what I've done. And what you have to do, and I don't know if you remember when PK said this on one night at Bold Man. You might not have been there, BG, but sometimes you got to come from among the tombs, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
there's a story in the Bible where a man lived in the tombs, in the areas of the tombs, for about almost 20 years, somewhere in that area, and he had just grown accustomed to being amongst the dead. So if you're living in situations that are dead, right, you are continuing to be in situations and places and spaces that there's no life. You are in the tombs. You have
Yeah.
to choose life, is what you did. You chose life, right? And
Yes.
understanding when people saying darkness is only just a lack of enlightenment. It is a
100%.
lack of knowledge to your higher self. So when he's saying that, it's dark in here, what he was saying in essence is that like the enlightenment has dimmed itself. And that's what the
Yes.
world and the enemy and the lack of self-development does. It puts you in a perpetual state of darkness where you actually dim
Yes.
your light and you cannot walk in the form of the highest self that you're supposed to be, right? But once you get into the
Mm-hmm.
light, then you start to bring life. Because if you look at
Yes.
a plant needs life to grow. You need light to grow. Jesus is the light. That's the light that you need to grow. So can you see how this stuff is all intertwined? And what I
100%.
loved about what you said too, bruh, is you actually practice the principle of spiritual maturity. So the principle of spiritual maturity says this. It says that when you're able to respect the truth, no matter where it comes from, you are spiritually mature.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to practice that concept in that instance and you didn't even realize it
Mm-hmm.
because you respected the truth. you heard the truth, and you saw what was being said versus heard what was being said. So you
Yes.
listen with your heart and not listen with your mind.
100%.
Because out of the heart the mouth speaks. That's where the abundance, that's where your life, this is where your conscience is your heart, and you listen from
Yeah.
your heart. So that's a beautiful thing, man. And just to have somebody in
Oh,
that space to be able to talk to you. And so I would say there are probably a lot of people listening to this podcast right now that those circles that you've been moving in, they're not serving you no more,
yeah.
and you actually have that aura of darkness surrounding you, and you wondering why your life is off, and you wondering why things ain't going the way that they're supposed to be, is
100%.
because you are steady walking in darkness. You are hanging around vampires, and what
Mm,
vampires do is they suck the life out of you. You have to watch who you hang around. You have to watch who you connect. Like he just said, where energy goes, energy flows. So if you, they always say, if you are hanging around 5 millionaires, you're
yeah.
likely to be the sixth millionaire. If you're
Yeah.
hanging around five bums, you're more likely to be the sixth bum, because in most cases, people pull you down to where they're at. You don't pull them up. It
100%.
takes a strong individual to pull somebody up, or a group of people up. You have to
Yeah.
really be on your P's and Q's. So, bro, I love that. And I love how you even talked about how you had the money, you had the things, but in essence, you had nothing
Exactly.
because you were
100%.
empty on the inside.
Yeah. And the
And
crazy
so
part
I just
was
want, you know,
the trickle effect is I started to lose everything after that.
whew.
The awareness, all the awareness did was open me up to it. And that was
Uh-huh.
the real abundance, because I started to lose everything that I put so much value behind, because, it's always like the things that you think about most become your God. My money became
Mm-hmm.
my God. My car became my God. My ability to do what I wanted became my God, versus like realizing what I was really missing was God. I was missing
Right.
coming to the church house and stuff like that. I was missing
Yeah.
having a pastor that I believed in, and a service that I could go to where I felt like family. And that was the essence. What I remember after I got here, I was here for almost a year.
Right.
Me and you got to talking about something. I was like, man, I know what I'm missing. Like I went to that retreat with Garen and stuff like that. Came back and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I have no spiritual support. That's what's missing. That's what's missing in my
Whoa.
life right now. That's where I'm empty.
This is right here is like a life master class. What my dog is talking about,
Big facts.
and it's just crazy about like when you start to one. Let's just go back to like Herbalife
Yeah.
and the journey that pretty much catapults most people on, right?
Oh yeah.
And then how you handle that journey from inception is based on you. But one of the big things they preach is personal development, right?
100%.
And so I never really took much stock in that until I got into Herbalife. And let me just rewind back too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I got to say one thing. Like I remember when before we even ever met, and I ended up, on the bros, and you follow bros, and it
Yeah.
was you, Reggie, and it might have been Karan. Y'all posted this massive picture, and everybody was on there, was like
Yeah.
shredded up like
Yeah.
Captain America. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and I'm like, you got to do something, because you look
Big
like Larry
facts.
Holmes, all flabby and sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to give you credit for that. Like, see, you had an impact on me, and you didn't even know me, and we had never met
Mhm.
yet. But you were one of the catalysts for me to look at myself and say, I need to take care of my body. I need to take care of my temple a little, not a little better, a lot better.
Yeah.
But just to fast forward to that, man, and how that, put you on a personal development journey. And what I love so much about fitness was just like the vehicle that God used to
Yeah.
get me to the place that he
100%.
wanted me to get. Because I'll be honest with you, I definitely felt like, well, this is my calling. I'm supposed to, grow this massive fitness business. I love it and I'm helping people. But at the end of the day, even some situations within that weren't like lining up with what God wanted me to do. So he was like,
Mm.
you got to step away from this. But it put me on the journey for self to personal development, right? So,
Yeah.
I would watch the Jim Rohns, the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, and I love all of them, right? I'm not knocking them
Mm-hmm.
because they were like the
100%.
foundation. But then once I got to a certain level, it's like I had that thirst for God and God's word and that spiritual connection that
Yeah.
you really don't get through them, right? So
Yeah.
that like really put me on a path to where I'm at now. So I'm grateful for that, right? And I still use the products. I still work out, religiously. And what I love about the discipline to work out on a consistent basis. Once you discipline that, right, you can discipline every other area of your life. If
Yeah.
you can turn that plate down and you can go to the gym when you don't want it, when you don't want to go, it's
Yeah.
easy to do the personal development. It's easy to look at yourself in the mirror and make the hard and necessary changes that need to be made.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that, right? Because a lot of time God uses a vehicle to get you to a location, but it's not
Yep.
it's not the location that he ultimately wants you to go. Like when he gets you to that location, then he it's like a you know, a scavenger hunt, right? And
Yes,
then
there you
he'll
go.
give you
Yeah.
the next location. And so that's what I feel like, you know, for me, that's what Herbalife was like, that
1000%.
starter car to get me where I needed to go. So man, let's
1000%.
just talk about like where you're at now, like how you've come out on the other side, like, you know, lessons learned, right? And, you know, just impart some wisdom on somebody who may look like you or feel like you or look like me or
100%.
feel like me, because we all have similar stories, right? I think that's one thing about us, is why we connect, so because we have similar stories,
Yeah.
but we have different stories. Like I've
Yeah.
lost my dad, you lost your dad, you know, mom's by
Yeah.
it's like it's so many similarities, right? And then you you get to the point in your life when you look in the mirror and you don't like who you are, what you see, and then you start
100%.
doing something about it. So man, just talk to me about like how you're continuing to grow once you healed from that initial hurt, that pain, that trauma. And then even
Yeah.
talk about like, if you're okay to do it, is like
Yeah.
when you were kind of at a space where you felt like you were, you know, gaining some clarity, or maybe it was at a space when, you know, it was like the you know, the passing of your father was like the
Yeah.
camel that broke the straw's back. So talk about that, dog,
Yeah.
and how you kind of navigated to this point and where you're at now, and how you handle these issues that you currently have kind of subdued and
Uh-huh.
addressed, but they're
Yeah.
still lingering if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I love the shift in how and the conversation as well as like the question, just because like I can say that in 2020, going into the pandemic and stuff like that, I felt like I was getting my moxie back. I felt like I was getting my spirit back, and I was moving and grooving and stuff like that. Yeah, where was everything perfect? No, but at the same time, I was stepping into creating strong boundaries and not getting myself like taking myself, removing myself out of things that didn't serve me. In that pause in the world gave me so much clarity about the direction I wanted to go. I started working harder on my results, and I started like, within the Herbalife products, and just started like manifesting exactly, writing out what I want to do. I want to help men. I want to work with women. I want to work with corporations. I want to speak around the world. I want to do all these great things. And it's more so like, all right, now that you have the thought, what's the action? And in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm rising, bro, I'm rising, boom, I
Mm-hmm.
get hit with tragedy. My dad passes away.
Wow.
Like the pandemic, like because he had the Lewy body dementia, the pandemic didn't
Uh-huh.
serve him at all. It increased his
Oh.
increased his symptoms, and before you know it, like in a blink of an eye, 1 second it's Christmas, we're laughing on the phone. The next month it's like, Billy, you need to come home, like
Oh
ASAP.
wow.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that dramatic push and pull. And I'm getting ready to go into my 40th birthday at that time, and I'm sitting there thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know what to do. This is like my hero. Like everything that I've done in life, getting emotional. Everything that I've
It's
done in
okay,
life,
dog.
I've modeled after this man. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I became the Qs, went to college, like became a Mason, did everything. It was like living a integrous life and all that stuff, bro. Like, and to realize that like that moment was hard because I felt like I was wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
I was wasting my life in that capacity of like whatever was possible for me in what I could create, and then I got mad at myself, and so starts part two of depression. Start gaining weight again,
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to do, and I don't know how to have outlets. And all these people are reaching out, like, I know what you're going through, but like, you're the one that said this. Is like nothing can take away that pit that you feel in your chest. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing can take that away. So don't try to remove it. You got to grow through it. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, Doc, I hear you. I appreciate that. And so that's what like pushed me into like a more of a mindset of like, I know I need change, but I don't know what that looks like. I know I want
Right.
more, but I don't know what that looks like. And so that was the moment of real, like when I say full life surrender, God,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have planned for me, whatever direction you want me to go, just let me know. And that's when my mom moved. 6 months after that, I moved. And then before you know it, I'm here and I'm in the space of abundance and the things that I keep asking for. Because when I'm talking on stage or when I'm working with people, and I always say this, like, what you pray for is given to you. You just have to be in a place to see
Yep.
that's where it's at. It may not be put in a bow. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be like pretty on the counter for you. Like if you take this, boom, success comes. It's going to come in the form of like showing up. It's going to become in the form of like,
Right.
are you willing to make that drive every Sunday to go to church? And it's going to show up in many different ways of how you choose to show up for yourself. And one of the biggest things that I did was I got back into the work, not only just going to church and everything like that and finding like going back to the house of the Lord. It was, I need to go to a seminar. I need to be like pushed to my limits. I need to be pushed to see what like, to break the limiting beliefs that I have in my head. Cause I can read the books all that I want to, but what can put me in the position of the practice? Like let me be put in front of a stranger and they don't know who I am. And they're like, you're a good pretender, aren't you?
Right.
You're someone who can go out here and you can make it look good, but you don't know who you are. And I'm sitting there like, I know this joker from a can of paint, but they see this in me. And it's like, okay. And it low key makes you mad because we're our biggest tricksters.
Right.
Mask on, mask off. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can be open with Carlton, but then I'm gonna go over here and I can hide myself again.
Yeah.
And so that exposure of that and realizing that I'm not living my true authentic self and I want to be my true authentic. I want to be loving, I want to be powerful, and I want to be authentic. How can I do all the above? Just live, move forward, do the things you say you're going to do, be a man of your word. And the crazy part about it is, was it all smooth sailing? No, I still have my faults. I still slip. We have those conversations all the time. But the biggest thing that I can say that really grew me, bruh, was not only doing the seminars, but it was putting myself in the most uncomfortable situations by going back to church and realizing that part's missing, going to the men's group, rejoining the book club. Because at one point in time, I remember saying this to y'all, I was like, man, I've been trying to get back into personal development, but I cannot read a book. I go through a couple pages and everything is in me like, I can't, like, whatever's blocking me inside is stopping me from my growth. So like, I need something. And so I'm praying, like, well, I need something, men's group. I need something. Men's book club. Boom. And now that's opening something into me. And then like recently, like we were talking a couple weeks or last week, getting into that leadership program with my mentor, bro, like it cracked me open because I remember telling you, it's like, I can sit there and say for myself, I am the biggest supporter. You can add me to anything and I will add value. I will make it better and I will add leadership. But when you tell me, Billy, go create something, I'm going to sit there and be like, do what? How? How do I start? What do I do? I start getting in my head because what the lingering thing that was still there, Carlton, and all the stuff, the depression and all that stuff, working through stuff, getting through work. I'm not getting over my dad's death, but understanding it and forgiving the guilt that I put on myself. The area that was still lingering that I didn't know was there was I don't trust Billy to make a decision.
Wow.
I don't trust me to lead me. I'm waiting for someone to tell me which way to go or what to do. Like Carlton calls me, hey, BJ, I got this thing. You down? Yeah, bro, let me go. Let's go do it. Garen called me. Let's go do this thing. Boom, let's go. I'm on it. Right. But I don't trust me to make a decision on my own for my own creation. So when I went through that program with Garen, I was able to literally create exactly what it is that's in my purpose and my soul. It's giving me life. And I remember my boy Chris Mays one day, I was bawling about like, I don't know my purpose. And he's like, BG, like you getting worked up about feeling like you got to find one thing, but your purpose can be in in multiple things at the same time. It's about the energy you put into them. And bro, that was like 1,000 pounds of chains taken off my shoulders because I kept pigeonholing myself. Like I have to have the thing. And then when I was able to create the program that I want to create when it comes to working with men that have addiction issues or opportunities with vulnerability, past traumas, and men that really just need a breakthrough around acceptance. Those main four areas, and there's a plethora of other areas too that we talked about. That's my wheelhouse. Working with women that are used to dealing with boys, or dealing with boys that are trying to be men. I'll never forget one of my good friends. In the heart of all the stuff that I was going through, we had the saying, and it was from a show, but it was like, man, I'm an F boy pretending to be a good guy.
Wow.
So I don't know what I want. I'm leading people into what I believe, but I don't know what I want. So who am I leading into what? And I want to be a better
Right.
man. So like supporting women through that and really being a bridge and a safe space that they're not used to having from men, especially a very
Mm-hmm.
dominant alpha male like myself who's emotionally intelligent, intellectual, and at the same time has those levels in conversations that I can hear from both sides and angles. And then at the end of the day, I really want to do what we've always talked about doing, speaking on the bigger stages around the world together and really just really impacting the world, not just like on a small scale, but on a massive scale. That's my legacy. And when being in that motion
Yeah.
right there, bro, has me wide open. I'm talking about hearts exploded. Like I feel so connected to everything that I want to do. I'm connected to source. God is flowing through me. And I finally feel confident enough to be like, I want to go left. And I trust myself to go left. I want to do this. And
That's
I
what's
made that
up.
decision. And I trust myself to do that. And so that, bro, that right there is like, next steps are always kind of crazy. We were talking about that last week, but like there's this level of no fear because I know it's happening. Like, and that's even why certain things are happening recently. And nothing bad, nothing crazy, but like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting into with a family member with like that. Oh, I know big things are coming. Oh, these arguments are popping up, or not arguments, or these situations are popping up. Oh, big things are coming. Abundance is coming. Shifts are coming. Change is coming. That's what that feels like, and it feels amazing.
That's what's up, though. That is what's up, and I see like the energy, the excitement, how
Yeah.
all that's flowing through you, right? And what I love is that you did not allow stuck to become your normal. Really,
Mm.
stuck is only supposed to be a season.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a place.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are stuck in a stuck place instead of being stuck in a stuck season.
Mm.
And if you don't do the work right, and I posted about this today, and what you did is what the real work and what I call is the gardening, the getting it up at the root, right? So when you are pulling a root, like I was in the yard the other day, I had to do some stuff. So the homeowner association wouldn't hit me up, right, about the weeds and stuff in certain areas. So I started pulling the weeds up, right, and some of the weeds would not come all the way up. I would rip it at the surface.
Mm.
But so if you look at it, metaphorically, that weed is really gone because you can't see it,
Yeah.
but it's still down in there, right?
Yeah.
But when you pull the weed all the way up and you pull it by the root and you can actually see the root, right? Now I know the weed is gone. So really, to effectively control weeds, you have to pull them up at the root. A lot of us spend a lot of time only pulling them up at the surface, and so that
Mm.
that root will grow more weeds, spread more seeds, and continue to suffocate the life that's within my yard. So when I
Big
go back to
facts.
pull the weeds that I did not get up and the roots are still there, there's going to be double the amount of weeds than that were originally there. Is because all I did is pull it up at the surface. But
Yeah.
when you pull the root up at the weed, right, and the reason you have to do that is it allows you for some regrowth. It allows you the weeds not to spread. It
Yeah.
allows to be no competition between the good seed and the bad seed. And it allows
100%.
there to be no persistence. So, because you got
Mm.
to understand there's good seed and there's bad seed. A weed is really nothing but
100%.
a bad seed. And if you're not careful, those bad seeds will take root in your spirit, in your soul, and they will
Yeah.
continue to sprout up. And what you did was you pulled them up, you started pulling them up at the root. For
Yeah.
so long, you were pulling them up at the surface, and that's how you're able to put that mask on. But then when you say, I'm
Mm.
tired of who I am, I'm going to pull this mask off and I'm going to get my gardening tools. I'm going to put my gloves on and I'm going to do this heavy work. I'm going to do this
Yeah.
heavy lifting and start pulling those things up. And that's what I had to do, bros. When like around that's the same, like in that same area, mine's then went into like 22, but like 23 is like a major turn for me.
Yeah.
But I said I would no longer pull these roots up at these weeds up at the surface. I started going into the roots and digging down into that thing. And the deeper you dig, the more it hurts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you ever pull up a root, sometimes that root can be 3, 4, 5 feet long under the earth's surface. So think about that root in that spiritual root. that bad seed that has had time to grow and spread more seeds.
Yeah.
So what Billy is saying is we have to pull these roots up at the core, not on the surface. To be the man that you desire to be, you gotta pull it up at the root, right? You get to the root cause. You remember when in like a job when something's going wrong, they say, okay, let's do a root cause analysis to
Yeah.
see what's really wrong. And so you have to take some of these skill sets and some of these things you learn on your jobs and in life and apply them to your life. You can
Yeah.
solve problems on your job, but you can't solve your problems because you are blind and you don't want to see. But they pay you $150,000 to solve their problems. And yet our lives are in turmoil. Like we're not meant to walk in turmoil, right? Start being faithful to yourself. Start being impeccable with your word to you. That's what the 4 agreements about, right? Be impeccable with your word. Don't take it personal. Always do your best. And what's the other one?
Don't make assumptions or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Like those are like tools to navigate for in life, right? Because you remember that everything that you want to be is who God designed you to be. Everything that you see deep down inside you, that's who God wants you to be. But you have to do the work. You have to get to the root of the problem. Like Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart. For everything you do flows from it, the heart. And that's what I love about this brother here. He is strong enough to be vulnerable, like in the right spaces with the right people. And when you can do that, you can really start to begin to break through. Like we have this mask on and this wall up of who we're supposed to be, but it's really not the definition. Like we often talk about PK's definition of manhood that he gave us, right?
Yeah.
What does it say? Accepts, lives courageously, accepts responsibility, rejects passivity, invests eternally. That's manhood in a nutshell. And if you have to write that down, right? Lives courageously, accepts responsibility, rejects passivity, and invests eternally. Those 4 things, if you do those daily, if you be fruitful, if you multiply, if you subdue and have dominion of self, because that's what God has designed us to do, bruh. If we do those things, you can get to the bag.
Yes.
The bag of life, an abundant life, right? Like money is a byproduct of who you are. And if you do the things that need to be done, you'll get some of the things that you desire. Like we're not, all of us not going to get everything that we desire because it's not meant to be like that. And there's also going to be some heartache. There's going to be some tough times. There's going to be some pushback in life, right? Life is going life. But you have to choose your heart. Like, do you want to live life this way? And know that you got somebody who ultimately has your back, which is God, which is Jesus, which is the Holy Spirit that's going to lead and guide you in all things? Or you just want to be out here all willy-nilly with no backing, right? And the ops is seeking you out. Everywhere you go, the ops is after you. Everywhere you go, right? So, man, I definitely know that, you know, we getting past the time frame because this one here, we can go a little bit further, right?
Go for hours.
But, man, I just want to tell you this, man. This one can go for hours. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to leave this to you. I'm going to read this to you, right? Because we talking about getting to the root cause, right? Hebrews 12:5 says, see to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. No bitter root grows up. Get to the root cause of that thing. It just says it right there. We all gonna fall short of grace, right? We all have our issues. We all have our downfalls. We all have our things that we need to consistently work on. But you have to get to the root, because if not, that root will become bitter. And then that root will become like cancer and metastasize your life, your abundance, your joy, your peace, your understanding. Don't let anything take away from you what you're meant to be, because what you see in your mind is a projection of who God wants you to be. You just have to do the work. So I like to, in closing, BG, is give them a hot bar or something to remember from this conversation. And then let the people know where they can follow you, where they can find you, the whole nine. So I'm gonna give you the mic, right? It's your time to flow.
Oh man, just a hot bar. It's on the spot.
Yeah.
Man, I would say that the biggest thing you can take away from this conversation that me and Brother Young is having right now is just be willing to do your best, give yourself grace, and just realize that like you're literally in the best position possible to become the best version of yourself. Like everything that you've ever asked for is literally right in front of you. All the trials, tribulations, everything you feel like is happening to you is actually happening for you. And that's why I know that like I'm living an abundant life because everything that's happened is literally making me the man that I am today. It's giving me everything and so much more. The right people, the right areas, the right groups, everything. And at one point in time, if you would have asked me, I would have thought that my world was coming down to an end. And something that we talked about the other day was just that like, what is it like a you've gotten through 100% of everything that you've gone through. Living
Mm-hmm.
proof of that, man. Living like a faithful, productive life, and just realizing that everything that I've ever wanted is being put right in front of me. All I have to do is just allow myself and trust myself to be the best version of myself. Lean into God, allow Him to just order guide my footsteps, and just allow me to be the most authentic, purest version of myself. And I know I'm not going to be perfect along the way, but I'm open. I'm ready to learn. I'm always a student. And so, yeah, man, let's get it, bro. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
That's dope. That's dope. So my words for you today, right, is remember that you are the thermostat, right? You set the temperature in the room. You don't react to whatever everybody else is doing. And remember, you can make people run away from you or run away from something, or you can be the one to inspire them to run towards something
Yeah.
higher than what they are, higher than who they are, the highest form of themselves. So who do you want to be? Are you a repellent or are you an attractor?
Attractive,
Look at
man.
yourself
I
and look at the
see
people
that.
in your life and think about, are you repelling or are you attracting? That's all CY has for y'all today, man.
I'm
I
dropping the
appreciate my
bars, bro.
guy.
I knew you had it in you. That's what I'm
I
talking about.
appreciate my guy Billy for joining me today,
Always.
man. So let the people know, man, how they can follow Billy Grubbs. You know what you got
Yeah.
coming up next if people want to tap in and learn more for you. Because look, I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
this again. I know this brother said there was a lot of things that he felt like he had to work through. But ever since I heard this bro talk, his aura, his personality, he is like top notch to me. He got something to say. He's a dope communicator, dope speaker,
Mm.
a good person, right? You know what I'm saying? A good, great bruh, great friend, right? So I could go on and on about this bruh, but this dude got something to say, right? He's next up. Stay tuned. He about to
Yeah.
impact the city. He about to impact the world. He about to impact everywhere he go. Impact,
Receive
impact, impact, right? So tell him about you, man. Cause you my boy, so I'm gonna
all
go hard
day.
for you.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I mean?
run it all day. Edifications all day, man. The best way to follow to get a hold of me is Instagram right now. It's at B Goat04. So BGOAT 04. There's gonna be a website coming out soon because I'm gonna be launching my website that's gonna have talk about everything that I'm gonna be up to when it comes to supporting men, supporting women, avenues of like supporting businesses and international speaking, local speaking, and everything like that. Motivational speaking, I mean. And I'm super excited to be creating that. Got some stuff with CY in the cooks. So we making some happen. It's in the lab right
Yeah.
now, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, man, just tap in with me. Trust and believe the content is coming. The content is coming. The content is coming. So BGoat04 website on the way. I can't wait to support you guys and grow with you guys. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. So hey, you heard it here first. You got my boy Billy Grubbs, B Goat. He's on the Genesis podcast, and we know what this is about. It's about the renaissance of manhood, right? Like we gonna be
Yes,
give you that raw, uncut, unfiltered discussions because there's somebody that looks like me, somebody that looks like him that's out there is trying to
100%.
figure it out. And it don't matter how old you are, right? Because here's something I know. Like you can read it's biblical too. David messed up with between his 50s and 60s, between 50 and 60 years old. He made that mistake, which destroyed his legacy. You can read the story. This is no cap, as they say. So it don't matter what age you are. you still can make a mistake that is detrimental to you. So try to learn from what we're saying and learn from our mistakes so you don't have to make the mistakes. And then in turn, you reach back and help somebody else, right? And I'm going to leave this with you in closing. The word try precedes a likelihood of failure. Stop saying I'm going to try and just do. Just be. In order to be, you must become, right? So in order to become, you must be. So to be the thing that you want, you have to be the thing that you're looking for. Then you will get it. Get it? Hey, this your boy CY, Mr. 8020. This has been the Genesis podcast with my boy Billy Goat. Hey, we are wrapping this thing up and I'm gone. All right.